Kay called and said she and Randy had a fight at her place. She comes over. She's distraught, a little drunk. She starts telling me how Randy and Tanya were carrying on. I only wanted to comfort her, hold her. I kissed her and got a little excited, and then she started laughing at me. She didn't stop laughing. Did you ever have someone laugh at you, Will? You know, when you're really vulnerable, laughing their ass off at you? Someone you thought respected you. Ever have that happen, Will? I just wanted to stop her laughing, that's all. And then, I hit her. A couple of times. Just to stop her. Let her know a little respect. Randy did it all the time. I think she even liked it when he did it. I mean, she never blamed him. Never wanted to leave him. But now I do it, she starts screaming. She wouldn't stop. She's terrified. She's screaming her head off. I put my hand over her mouth. And then I get really scared. I mean, I'm scared shitless. More scared than I've ever been. And I think I'm more scared than her. And that everything's clear. And after that, I was calm. Really calm. You and I share a secret. We know how easy it is to kill someone. It doesn't exist outside our minds. I didn't murder her. I killed her. But it just ended up that way.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nick.
I'm Hunter.
And this is NYC Actors Talk Robin Williams, a podcast series where we go through the very best performances of Robin Williams and search for his absolute best role. We have a very special guest today. Isn't that right, Hunter?
Indeed, we do. Brianna Erb.
Howdy.
Hey, it's a wonderful pleasure to meet you, Brianna.
You as well.
And Hunter, what movie are we talking about today on this fabulous miniseries?
We are talking Christopher Nolan's 2002 Insomnia.
Insomnia, baby.
Where Robin Williams is playing a friggin' killer, dude.
He's a killer. He may or may not be killing it, and that's what we'll talk about in this episode. And you guys can't see this, but I have a wallpaper of Al Pacino trying to sleep behind me on Zoom, a Zoom background of a picture of Al trying to sleep.
And he's looking at him right now. He's literally looking right in his eyes.
Gazing into his eyes.
Look, he's so mesmerizing, but also he's so sleepy.
He's so tired.
Tired baby.
He's just a tired baby. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Insomnia today in this episode. This is an interesting one because Robin Williams, this is one of the first times he has played a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so well known for playing these, likable characters with warmth and humor to them, and for this one to stray a little bit, I think is super interesting. So let's before we deep dive into that, let's just talk about our thoughts on the movie, overall thoughts. Whoever wants to start first.
Yeah, Brianna.
Okay. I really enjoyed the movie. I was just telling Hunter, I didn't know that it was a Christopher Nolan movie until after I watched it. And that was a shocker.
You saw the credits and you were like, wait a minute.
I was like, excuse me? In my mind, I was like, no wonder it was so good. But at the same time, it was like, I don't know. I feel like he's such a good director with big budget movies that are really complicated, to understand and stuff like that. He does that so well that it's it doesn't surprise me that he does a story like this, just flawlessly, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about it, but I just thought it was really interesting, especially just for being from 2002. Just I don't know, the acting was great. I felt like the pace of it was perfect. Like I didn't get bored throughout it and like think, oh, like what's gonna happen next? Like they just kept it going really well, I thought. And I thought it was like just complicated enough to have like shocking points but not confuse you, you know? So
Yeah.
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And I thought Robin Williams killed it.
Yeah, it's such an interesting point in Christopher Nolan's career because, like, let's set this up a little bit. So, Christopher Nolan, how do you not know the guy? He has done at this point countless popular and critically praised movies. You know, the critical darlings, but also everyone loves them because, you know, epic in scope. You know, like he Dark Knight. Come on, how do you not? It's a you know, it's a small movie. It's a small movie, but it's hot take. It's pretty good. But you know, so he's so well known. But this movie is one of his first. I think his sophomore effort. So it's interesting to go back to like this movie because this is my first time watching this movie. I don't know about you, Hunter.
Yeah, first time.
But this was my first time watching. So I've seen obviously his more popular movies like Inception, Dark Knight, Tenet, and you know that's the most recent example. So it was interesting to go back to like his second movie ever made, and to see, you know, if this movie is like in the same level as those, or like he was still trying to, you know, see, you know, he was still trying to, you know, figure things out and stuff like that. So it was interesting to go back to see if like, oh, did he have it already, or was it like, you know, was it he's still trying to, you know, find the Christopher Nolan balance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy that it's only his second movie, because imagine only directing your second movie and you got Pacino, Williams,
Yeah.
Hilary Swank was in it, and I
Yeah.
didn't know that she was. And it's crazy. And I feel like he does such a good job handling all those three.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think his first movie was Memento, which has a Guy Pearce, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is a masterpiece. I love that movie. Insomnia is one of his very first movies, as you said, Hunter, with Pacino, with Williams, these huge actors. But it's interesting because they're huge and they're huge names, but like at the time, they're not so huge. Like Pacino is like, you know, obviously is still a famous guy, but he's, you know, his performances, at least at the time, like people were kind of like, I don't know, he might be a little too, you know, over the top now. And like Williams was kind of falling off sort of his high from like the 80s and 90s from, you know, like the times of Aladdin and Doubtfire were no more. You know, like like he, like well, just like his the way people saw him, like people weren't as excited as before, you know, during his peak. So it was interesting that like he picked a role like this at the time. So yeah, my overall thoughts on the movie Insomnia. It's not as good as his later movies, but it's really solid. I think like it has a wonderful performance by Williams. I think he is creepy. He's disturbing. He's but as we'll get into it much more later, there's also a little bit of warmth to that role, which is interesting because you don't. I don't know. Most performers would kind of just play it evil or just play it creepy, like, you know, just like, oh, I'm playing like a child murderer, like like I'll just play it like that. They would just like, you know, rub those hands together and just like, you know, and just like play evil, and there's not really much else to it, but he plays it like he's the hero, like he's kind of like, oh, you know, it was an accident. You know, I didn't. Sure, I killed her, but I didn't mean to. Like, so there's that interesting angle to his performance in this. Yeah, before we dive even deeper into the movie itself and to Robin Williams' performance in this, yeah, Hunter, what are your thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I don't think that it's as good as like The Dark Knight or like Inception or anything like that, but it's a solid movie. And Williams, I'll have to agree with you too. Like the he's disturbing, but also I liked him.
Yeah.
I was like he's such like a I want to know this guy and like figure out why he did it. Like, oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I was like, I'm sure it wasn't as sinister as like it was, but it definitely was.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the kind of
Yeah.
thesis statement at the end of the movie is that okay, like he pretends like, you know, he's kind of the victim in a way, but like at the end the movie is showing you like no, he is like terrible and like he definitely did it on purpose. Like he did it on purpose. He's just trying.
Also,
oh, sorry. He's just trying to, you know, justify it.
yeah, and I also thought it was interesting how like you kind of compared the two, like the murderer and the cop who I mean shot his partner.
Right.
And I was like, that's so interesting that the movie would take that like route.
Right.
And yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, like it's so we all liked it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great. So yeah, it's an interesting movie because like, yeah, let's talk about just the movie itself for a little bit. So yeah, this movie starts out like, okay, like this is the run of the mill kind of detective story. Like, all right, Pacino's coming in with his partner. You know, they're gonna solve the case and they're gonna get the bad guy, and then he shoots his partner, and then you know that moment happens where it's like, okay, like this whole kind of mysticism with this guy is kind of like falling apart because like okay, like he's not necessarily a hero, and so like, you know, or at least not like a perfect guy, because then that happens and then we kind of see, you know, the deterioration of his character through the rest of the movie for the most part. So I thought that was a really interesting angle in general to the movie, that like, yeah, this guy is far from perfect. He's ends justify the means kind of guy, and we see that, I think, through his performance. Sorry, I was looking at Al for a second. You know, through Al Pacino's performance, that like, you know, he is a bit like shady, and he's a little bit like, you know, I'm trying to cover up this murder I did, and it's like, you know, it's like, and also just let's be real, like he plays tired so well.
Oh my God, it made me tired.
Yeah, he made me tired in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, oh God, like I want him to sleep so bad.
Yeah, like a top 5 sleepy performances.
Top 5 sleepy baby performance.
Sleepy baby performance.
Al Pacino takes the cake.
Also, as far as acting goes, the moment when he shoots his partner and then goes up to him and the guy's like, "Get away from me, get away!" I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah, because I didn't know anything about this movie, so when that moment happened, I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, there were a lot of moments like that where I was like, the whole the moment where they get off the ferry or whatever, and he holds up the little recorder in his hand. Oh,
bro,
because it's Robin Williams, like he's so warm and stuff that you want to believe everything that he's saying, and you're following him, you're starting to care about him and like trust him a little, and then boom, like he breaks it, like
hey, wild card, baby.
Wild card, yes.
But yeah, so so the premise of the movie is super interesting. Just like, yeah, kind of focusing more on Al Pacino and like his kind of struggle of like not being able to sleep. Like obviously the whole theme of just like insomnia, the title of the movie in general, is just super interesting because like, yeah, it's like literal too. Like it's not just like, yeah, he can't sleep. Like no, like there's a reason he can't sleep, and the reason is because he keeps thinking that, oh, I'm gonna just do this questionable thing for the right reasons, though. Like, sure, like, you know, like he meant at the end of the movie, he mentions his past, and he mentions like, oh, you know, I dropped the blood on the, you know, the clothes or whatever, you know, to kind of get that guy in jail. And it's like, I get it, but also like that's very questionable. And I think the ultimate moment where he does kill his partner is just like such a, like that's just on his mind, you know, it's weighing him down. And so like literally his insomnia is just like everything he's done up to this point is just like he can't sleep, he can't move on because he knows what he did was wrong. And so like by the end of the movie, for him to sleep, to kind of let go of everything, to like for him to be able to like actually talk to Hilary Swank at the end about that, like, yeah, it was an accident, but I kind of felt good after he died, and like actually like owning up to some of that stuff, I think is a very neat way to end his character and everything. So yeah, I thought that was like a really interesting angle, and it's funny, like we're talking about our boy Al so much that like Robin Williams. This is a Robin Williams podcast. We got to talk about that guy. But what's so interesting about this movie, and I want you guys to talk after I say this, but like he doesn't really show up until like an hour in.
Yeah, and even then, even like that hour mark or whatever, it's just his voice. It's just over a phone call.
Well,
And
I pinpointed
did you?
that the moment where like you hear his voice. So that's 49 minutes in.
Okay.
And then you see him physically, I think about like an hour in.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
And he's second billed. Like it's Al Pacino and then Robin Williams. But when he does show up, then he's basically in every scene. So it's not like, you have to wait so much longer after that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that like, yeah, he makes such an impression, and he doesn't physically show up until an hour in.
Yeah, but I think when he shows up, he steals the show.
Absolutely.
Like, it almost makes me like, who's Al Pacino? Who's that guy? Who is that guy? Who cares?
You're so curious about his character that you just want to follow him. You just want to know what he's doing, like what he's thinking, why it happened. That like, he just took it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also, because I mean, seeing him do such a change, right, from his other stuff, I think that's such a big step. And like Nick, you were mentioning how he was kind of like his fame was kind of falling off, like from his big hits and stuff like that. And I wonder if he was just like, nah, fuck it. I'm just going to do this crazy freaking thing and hope it works out. And I think that's really admirable and like kind of crazy, because it could have ruined his career.
Yeah.
It's definitely
poorly,
it's definitely a risk. It's definitely like something that could have not worked at all. Like imagine, I don't know, like a perfect example, but like imagine like a very famous comedic actor taking a super dramatic turn or a antagonistic turn, and it not working, and it's like you know what comes to mind, even though I've never seen the movie, Jim Carrey in 23.
Okay. I like that movie. but yes, he's not like as good as he should be. And,
well, I even more just I'm just saying that more as like just like public perception of the guy. Just like, after that movie, everyone was like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Even a more like, and nobody's probably seen this movie. I don't even know what the movie is, but Dane Cook also did a similar thing where he's like, I'm done being the funny guy. I'm going to go be serious. And it didn't work out at all, which, I mean, it just goes to show how great Robin Williams is. Because it's like, oh, I really didn't know that he could do this. Like, I knew that, like, I've seen Good Will Hunting. I knew he could play the serious stuff, right? But he can make you
creepy, uncomfortable. Like, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah. And, like, Nick, as you were saying, where, like, it's another, like, actor could have just been like,
Yeah, exactly.
Where Robin Williams is like, damn, you just took it in a whole other way that I wasn't expecting.
He brought a lot of other elements.
Well, also because also the hero is so like morally complex too. So it's like, I love that kind of relationship he has with Pacino in this movie, where he's like, "Hey, we both killed Buddy. We're on the same page." Yeah. It's like, hey, how bad could I be if you did the same thing? Kind of, like I think as we. See at the end of the movie, like, I mean, like, Pacino, it was kind of an accident, so, like, you can't completely, like, be like, Pacino totally did it on purpose in the same way that, like, Williams basically did, and he's just kind of justifying it, like, hey, I was, like, that whole monologue that Robin Williams has I think it's like halfway through. It's like during a phone conversation where he's basically describing like how he did it to him, and he's basically like, hey, I was more scared than she was. I think I you know what I mean? Like that was a very key line in the movie where I was like, ooh, like he's really trying to make himself feel better.
Yeah.
But I believed him.
Yeah.
I know, but that's the thing. Like that's why his performance works, is that it's so convincing that you almost forget that he's a crazy murderer.
Yeah,
I know, it's
I know. I
weird.
felt like when I was being manipulated by him because I started to be like, wait a second, especially when he was like relating to Al Pacino. He's like, I know you're not feeling guilt. Like, I know that you're just feeling aware. Like, it's like, how would he know exactly how Pacino feels if he didn't kill on accident? Like, if he's a murderer, he's gonna have a different feeling after he kills. But it's like he used really like key things to get to Pacino's character to be like, look, we're on the same page. And I was like, wait, maybe it was an accident. You know?
they're kind of linked in that way, which is creepy, and they have this kind of understanding of each other, and you know, like what's Robin Williams' character's name in the movie?
Fitch, I think.
Is it Fitch?
I think.
Finch?
It is Walter Finch.
Walter Finch. Finch kind of says to him like, what does he say? Like he says like, about just insomnia in general, just like, oh, like, are you having those flashes yet?
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing things too? Or did you put your clock away like I did? And little details like that. I think like one of their last interactions, he says something like, "Hey, you beat me when it comes to the insomnia days. Like you're on day 6."
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. You're on day 6. Like I'm already done. I'm okay. So you beat me in that respect. So once again, there's a link to them both, and they're kind of like almost once again they're trying to like help each other out. It's so that I think that was like the best stuff of the movie. Like that dynamic and Williams's performance as Walter Finch was super interesting.
Now, I as much as I liked the movie, I do want to get to a part that I thought was so bad that I laughed my ass off.
Oh my god.
Oh, please go ahead, Hunter.
So there's a chase scene.
Oh wait.
Oh, is it the log one?
It's the log one.
Oh.
But it's
Okay, wait a minute. I like the log
Bro.
chase.
It gives me anxiety when he's like trapped.
No. It's before
Yeah, that was super
No.
crazy.
No. It's before that. It's before they get to the logs.
Before?
Right? And they're just running, right? Pacino's running
Oh,
after
he's so slow.
Bro, and I was like, look at these two old farts running, and like it's not exciting there, and you can tell like they try to make him look fast, but they look so slow.
They look so silly.
And I was like, and yes, it's a damn good movie if that's the one thing that I like laughed at, right? Like, I was like, man,
They're
that's
pretty.
so bad.
There's
But
some. There's some slow people, yeah.
I
Yeah.
laughed so hard, and I was like, damn, there's no way that anybody really took that seriously. Right?
Yeah, I noticed that too, where I was like, oh, they're
Not breaking
like
his
Robin Williams is getting away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pacino's like, oh,
Yeah.
what a picture. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm gonna get you. Oh.
And Robin was like,
Stay right there.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Think away from him.
Ha.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I just thought that part was just absolutely terrible. But
Yeah, I would agree with you when it comes to the action, but at the end, I like this movie's pretty solid. But then the ending is just kind of fight,
Yeah.
and that's not as interesting to me because the action wasn't like very exciting. They were just kind of, I don't know, slapping each other. I don't know.
yeah, which is weird. And like nowadays, Christopher Nolan movies is like, oh, the action's pretty friggin' awesome.
Well,
That's
it's actually
also
interesting
about
to
it.
note that, like, you know, Christopher Nolan didn't really get a grasp on action until The Dark Knight. So, like, if you look back at, like, Batman Begins and stuff like that, like, the action's a little not there. It's just not really existing. Like, it's like, there's a lot of close-ups on Batman, a lot of close-up on the goons that he beats up, but, like, yeah, there's not actually a lot of, like, in camera like dynamic action. So I think that's one of the few things like it seems like that Christopher Nolan had to learn for with his later movies like Dark Knight and all those other movies.
Another thing about the movie that like I feel like Christopher Nolan obviously is super well known for his scores, and this movie like no, like there wasn't like a single time where the music I was like, yeah. It's just kind of like constant background sound of just like
this is one of the very few Christopher Nolan movies not scored by Hans Zimmer.
Oh wow.
It's like this, a few others I think from Chris Nolan's early career and most recently Tenet. Hans Zimmer did not score that movie actually. The Mandalorian guy did. What's his name? I'll look him up real quick. But yeah, you guys keep talking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just expected like after I watched it, I was like, wow, the score didn't stick out to me at all. And usually that's like, I don't know, like that's a pretty big.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a person I never know.
You really?
I there's a few movies that I'm like, damn, that was really good. Like The Danish Girl is a good one.
Yeah.
And then I have no other examples. Star Wars, that's pretty good. But other than that, I'm like, I never notice the music. I notice when it gets high and when it gets soft, but I don't know why.
He didn't even do too much of that. It was just like background, like it was like.
The composer's name is Ludwig Göransson, I believe is how I will pronounce it.
That sounds right.
But yeah, he did like Mandalorian and I believe Creed and some other movies. I believe he also does he did the score for Community too.
Oh yeah, see, I never on a show or movie can I remember the score.
Really?
I'm one of and everybody I know, like Nick, you love that. Like I remember when we talked Lost, you love that stuff. And I wish
it's true.
And I want to love it so bad, but I never remember to love it.
I don't know. I guess I'm such a musical person in general that I always like want to listen in on like, oh, okay, what's going on with the music and like, oh, it's so beautiful or it's really like making me feel this moment even more because of the music. So yeah, but yeah, the music in this is all right.
But like yeah, just like Interstellar and like
things
like that.
Interstellar's
it's
another
like
one.
It's like oh my god, like the music and this is like he paid no mind to that.
Yeah, well that's the power of Zimmer, baby.
Yeah, that's the power of Zimmer straight up. That
Look, the Zimmer power goes like this. It goes, and you know,
and you feel it in your gut.
And that's great. It's great.
Bro, beautiful. I'm clipping that. I'm clipping it. Zimmer power goes.
But what else?
Wait,
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you guys didn't particularly like, acting wise or?
Yeah, I guess just like Mrs. Doubtfire, I think in a different way from this movie because like, you know, in Doubtfire, like, you know, he's in it a lot more. You know, he's the main character. But in this one, I guess just my critique again is just I wanted more because I liked him a lot. And I think we could have like gone to like Heath Ledger Joker kind of areas with him. And we didn't, you know, not his fault, but like, you know, I don't think we got there, but we could have, which is why it's a little like maybe I wanted a little more with that. But I do think he is fantastic in this movie and he gives such an interesting performance that like you can't look away from.
Yeah. Something that my dad said that like, because I know he did 1 hour photo after this movie. And
yes, actually, what's interesting about that is that like he doesn't really play a lot of villains, but he played 2 in the same year.
Yeah, and then somewhere in between that, I think he was in like an action movie called like Fracture or something like that, which is like it's a very weird span of time for him. But what I was gonna say with 1 hour photo, I think that's what we're gonna get when we do that movie because I know that's on the list.
Right, that's one of our one of our later Robin Williams movies that we'll discuss on NYC Actors Talk Robin Williams.
Yeah, but I think that's what we're gonna get with that one. That we do.
Oh, really? Well, I hope so. I mean, like,
Yeah.
but I can safely, confidently say in this movie, I like him as a bad guy. I want to see more.
Me too.
Yeah,
Agreed.
so good.
How did?
But yeah, he's such a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. How did you guys feel about the partner, Hap, Martin Donovan?
Yes, he's been in a couple of Christopher Nolan movies. I remember very vividly he was in Tenet. He was in the beginning of Tenet, where he's talking to John David Washington, where he's like, I don't know, like he's talking about like, hey, this is what we're all about, kind of scene.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, like he's one of those faces in movies where you're like, oh, I know that face, but like he's been in so many movies that like you don't even really think much of it. Like he's just one of those character actors.
I feel like it's hard to like stand alongside Pacino and really stand out. But I don't
That's
know.
true, yeah.
Yeah, they're dynamic. I feel like it could have been more interesting, and that would have made the death and everything. He dies super soon, and I feel like you don't really get to understand their dynamic too well. It's just very like seems like down to business. Like
yeah, that's fair. I mean, they have a couple of scenes where I think it makes like his death interesting in that like like he was about to like kind of screw Pacino over. And so it's kind of like, oh, like, you know, like how much of an accident was it?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, like how you're saying, doesn't he say that like he felt good?
Yeah.
Yeah, or he at least felt like relieved.
I feel like that was Robin Williams getting to him. I feel like he started to see the similarities so much that maybe he questioned what his true intentions were.
That's true. That's fair because he even says like he doesn't even know anymore, like how he feels about it.
And during the movie, like I questioned a couple times, just like who is the hero in this movie? Who's like our good guy? Like, cause you question, is it really Pacino? Like,
no.
And is it Swank?
It's Hilary Swank.
Yeah, sorry, Al.
Yeah, sorry, Al. Sorry, Robin.
But I feel like you question like whether or not he's the hero throughout the movie because you see his flaws, you see his mistakes, you see him not fix them. But I feel like at the very
sorry,
end,
I was looking at Al again in the background.
If that was okay with
in my hashtag Zoom background.
Yeah, no offense, Al. But I feel like at the very end when he says to Hilary Swank or Ellie, whatever her name is, when he's like, "Don't lose your way," that's him being like, I don't know. I feel like he's
Don't be a bad cop.
Yeah, I thought that was so. I felt
like corny or what?
It was empty. It was like.
What else does he have to say though?
Don't lose your way.
Well, that's the point of. But Hunter, that's the point of the movie that like.
No, I know.
No, wait. But like that's the point of the movie that like Al Pacino's like, hey, don't be like a shady cop. Like don't do shady things for the right reasons, or don't do something that ends justify the means kind of thing. Don't lose your way because you'll just be like the bad guys you're trying to
or you're gonna
capture.
Be sleepy like me.
You're gonna be sleepy like me, baby.
No, and I agree with that message, but I also think I'm only saying this because I'm dying.
I'm dying. I gotta say something.
Yeah, I gotta say something.
What can I pull out of my
ass?
Because
if he didn't die, dude, would he have changed? No.
Yeah, if he was chilling, if he had a little nap somewhere in there and he like regained a little
he'd be like, whatever.
He'd be back at it. But he was like, I just want to sleep. Tell him it was me. Screw this.
Jesus Christ, just let me sleep.
But yes, the hero of the movie is Hilary Swank, dude. She's because there's so many different like.
That's true. Like, it's true. She's the hero.
Yeah, like Robin Williams is trying to like save his ass. Pacino's trying to save his ass, and Hilary Swank's like, I'm gonna freaking solve everything.
Yeah.
That's true. Like she's the only like honest cop. Like she's actually like trying, or detective or whatever she is. But like she's actually trying to like get shit done.
Yeah, and people shit on her for it.
I feel like he also wants her to. I was so confused by that moment where like she goes and tries to have him sign what is it called? You know what I'm talking about? She's like, sign this for me, and he's about to, and he's like, this is on your ass if this isn't done right. And it's like, why wouldn't you just sign it? Like, and he wants her to go back and look, and then she figures it out. Oh, you couldn't have you couldn't have seen him. Like he wasn't shot at that angle. You couldn't have found him like that. Like,
Yeah.
do you really remember where you heard the gunshot? And I'm like, why did he help?
And he's all like, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm sleepy.
I don't know, I gotta go.
Yeah, you know, I'm sleepy.
I'm just sleepy.
I'm a sleepy baby boy.
Baby needs his rest, okay?
Baby, go night night.
Baby, go night night. But what I like also about this movie is that like the setting is so interesting. I think like anytime there's like a murder mystery movie that's like set in like, I don't know, the woods, or like set in like something that isn't like the city, it's like so cool.
Yeah.
Agreed. Alaska?
It's set in Alaska. It was filmed in 3 different places.
Oh shit, really? Explain.
They filmed it in 2 different places in Alaska, right? But then they filmed a few of the scenes in Vancouver. Or no, it was British Columbia in Canada.
British Columbia.
And I was like,
That's so random.
and also that the shack that Robin Williams lives in, that like cabin or whatever, bro, they built that.
No way.
And then they
Oh,
took
really?
it down. Yeah, and then they took it down after filming.
Oh my god, it looked so old and mildewy. Well
yeah,
done.
I know, right? It was like
It was a
when I
fossil.
found that out, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
really
That's
good.
really
That
good.
set design is amazing because it looks like it's been there for centuries.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah. So they filmed it in a couple of places then. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know who was considered for the role of Will Dormer, Al Pacino's character?
I love when you do this. Who is it?
Who?
Can you even guess?
Can we even guess?
2002.
Yeah, it's 2002. Who's hot shit at that point?
Oh,
Was it-
Keanu.
Yeah, wait a minute. Where he goes like, "Whoa, give me some sleep."
Whoa.
I'm getting kind of.
I need some sleep. Wait, hold on. Let me.
I'm really tired. I've got insomnia.
Oh my god.
Whoa, insomnia.
Bro, okay, here's my last guess.
Okay.
And it's not right, but I just think it'd be such a different movie.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan.
My man, you are wrong.
That was so good. I was so convinced.
Who was it?
So Harrison Ford was originally considered for the role of Will Dormer. What else is what is also interesting about the movie is that like Al Pacino prepared a lot. You know, there's a lot of talks during filming about like character motivation, and he took a lot of takes, while Robin Williams had very little preparation and not a lot of rehearsal time, but many takes as well. And I think Hilary Swank hardly any rehearsals, but a lot of takes as well. So overall a lot of takes from these actors, but in different ways. And it's interesting that Robin Williams didn't have a lot of rehearsal time for this, that he just kind of went for it. And I think that's just in general his kind of MO. Like, let me just do it. Let me just like do this thing. Let me just like let me go from here to there. All right, am I good? All right, thank you. You know, kind of mentality. So that's interesting to see for the filming of this movie.
Yeah, I also want Harrison Ford in it. I do. I want that movie. Imagine Harrison Ford and Robin Williams. That's almost better than Pacino. Sorry, Pacino. It's almost better than Pacino. Okay, also, can someone... Nick, I texted you while watching it that Pacino's turning into a god for me, right? But also...
Please elaborate.
No. I can't elaborate on it.
Oh my God!
I don't know if I think that anymore.
Kneel before me.
Okay,
Because
so...
he's not Harrison Ford?
Yes, but also no. So I was watching it, right? I fell asleep because it was so late.
And you were, it's a sleepy movie.
It's a sleepy movie. And then I woke up and I finished the last 20 minutes of it, right? And my dad was watching it with me at that point, and he was all like, "Man, Pacino's like really good, but man, does he play the same guy?" And I was like, Fuck, he does. Somebody explain the Pacino hype to me. I don't get it anymore because I think it got ruined for me.
Really?
What do you guys think about him?
I thought he was good in this.
No,
But
I-
like just him in general, like because he's popular as hell and he's
Yeah.
considered as one of like an icon.
Yeah. I feel like he's just so easy to watch. Like
Yeah.
he's so easy to just like get used to. You just like accept him as a character. And
Yeah,
everything he's
I
done-
don't, Hunter. I think he was captivating in this movie. I thought
Oh.
he was good. I like him in
good.
general as in movies. I don't think he plays the same character every time.
Maybe
I
it's just his
think I
voice.
think a detective is a little
I
bit
don't know.
different than a mobster. So like there's just because it's not like wildly different as something like Robin Williams doesn't mean it's not impressive.
No cap. I like that.
I'm just trying to explain why
Flipped.
I like the man. I like
Flipped.
his, but this ain't a Al podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is a Robin podcast.
Robin.
Robin, my boy. So yeah, let's just kind of wrap up with just like,
Mhm.
so this is the part of the show where we kind of just see, is this one of his best? Is this the greatest role? Where would we rank it so far into our miniseries? So Hunter, we've covered now 3 of his movies. Where would you place this performance?
Okay, so here's my ranking. I have at number 3 Hook.
Good.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Hook all the way, baby. Number 1. No, my number 2 spot is Mrs. Doubtfire, and my number 1 spot is this movie. I think that I think this is better.
Wow.
But yes. Does Mrs. Doubtfire utilize him in ways that are perfect? Yes, it utilizes all of his strengths, right? This movie though, it doesn't bank on his like comedy gimmick. Not a gimmick, but you know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
bank on his voices, it doesn't bank on like his like likability.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But it's just him.
That's
I-
true. There's no like familiarity to it, which is interesting.
No.
right.
And I think that's why I rank it at number 1. I think that he's brilliant in it, and I think that he did something that not many actors can do. And that's like change my mind and do something different. And I don't see him in the same way.
Yeah, that's very well said. Yeah, I think I'm a little torn because when it comes to Doubtfire and this movie, like Hook is definitely on the bottom so far. But yeah, I definitely agree with you that this is like a different swing for him. That this is like just totally like doing something else, a totally different kind of guy, just like mentality and everything, and his actions, which are, a little bad.
Mhm.
But I get it.
But I understand it.
I
It's
get
awesome. Great guy.
Yeah.
But hey, at least he's not sleepy.
Oh my god.
But I think I will have to give it to this movie over Doubtfire as well. I think
Wow.
as
That's
much
so
as I like him in Doubtfire, I think I could have seen more out of him, and I definitely do for this movie too. But I think like we got to see just like a new side to him that I haven't seen before. And once again, as this is my first viewing of this movie, yeah, it was just like a really pleasant surprise.
Mm.
Yeah.
I feel like since I grew up watching him and loving him, and I think Robin Williams, I think of like that cozy feeling where he's just like, he just brightens everybody up, and I adore that about him, and I think he does it so well.
It's true, he
like-
does. He's the best at it.
He is the best.
He was the absolute GOAT when it comes to that.
Yeah, he's just like quick, he's funny, he's warm, he's charming, and I feel like I love that so much that when I watched this movie and I started seeing him being creepy, I was like, no, like don't do
Right,
that.
you're like
Robin.
you're kind of missing the
Yeah.
classic
I-
Robin.
Exactly. Like I appreciated it so much, and it made me like have this new perspective on him and his capabilities. But at the same time, I was like, like that's my Robin.
Yeah.
That's Jeannie. That's Mrs. Doubtfire. And I was like, don't make him creepy. That's Flubber.
Yeah.
Flubber's killing that girl, baby.
No, but I adored it. But I feel like I prefer the comfort over the good mystery movie.
Yeah.
as much as I liked it.
All right,
Also-
that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, too, I do have to say that it made me see his features in a different way. Still the same
Me
man,
too.
and I was like,
Features, like what do you mean?
Yeah,
Like his
okay, so-
facial features?
yeah. So what I mean by that is like whenever like I'll use Mrs. Doubtfire, like he's so like handsome and like just like
I want to pinch his cheeks.
yeah, like he's adorable.
Yeah,
like,
and then when he's Mrs. Doubtfire, she's hot.
yeah.
a little sexy.
She's a little sexy.
Your thing with Mrs. Doubtfire. No, and then but in this movie, I'm like, oh, his nose is like pointy,
Yeah.
and he's
And
he's-
it's creepy about
yeah,
him.
and
Like, look at that chin and his little frown. Like,
yeah, no, and I'm like,
ugh.
oh gosh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's something that I noticed, and I don't know if I've seen that with any other actor, because like, yeah, like how you're saying, like he's just so
Yeah.
like, oh, he brightens my day, and then this one, dark clouds. are coming.
Although,
It's weird.
like there were a couple times that he made like little like grumpy, frumpy faces while he was like doing bad stuff, and all I could see was Robin Williams' Popeye.
Oh my god, what a movie that is. I've never seen
Is that on your
it, but
list?
yeah.
Because it should be.
No, it's
Popeye?
we thought about it. I think when we were just starting the list, I was like, oh, like it's his first but I don't.
It's kind of.
Well, I don't think anyone considers it like one of his best performances.
Brown is like nobody but me.
Nobody but me. Big meaty arms, little brownie face.
But yeah, this is just to wrap it up. Yeah, a totally big swing, pleasant surprise. Just goes to show that Robin Williams could play so many things, not just
Anything and
one thing.
everything.
You can't put Robin in a box.
No.
Period.
And if
Moral
you
of the
try,
story.
he's got a box cutter, baby, and he's like, no, I'm not going.
Watch out, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. Oh,
But
you
yeah.
thought we were just talking about books? Oh, no, I'm killing you. But yeah, great performance.
Oh yeah, so final ratings out of 10.
Yeah,
Oh.
Brianna, I'll let you go.
Ooh. I wish you guys had little like categories for me to be like, I don't know. Oh my god, just a flat rating. I'll give it like a 8.2.
Ooh, where'd the point 2 come from?
I don't, it just seemed right.
Oh, it just came out.
Yeah, I went with it. 8.2.
Yes.
Staying with it.
Nicholas.
I think I would give it. I'm a little torn between 7 or 8, but I think I'll give it an 8 for now. I think it's very solid. It's not like, once again, it's not like the very best of Nolan, but I think like already with like his second movie, like it's a solid flick.
Mm-hmm.
And Williams is great in the movie.
Yeah, I think I'd have to give it like I can't quite give it an 8. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Yeah.
The 0.5 deduction there is the chase scene. It
That's
is,
like 5 seconds.
and it's a 0.5 deduction.
Wow.
Fair enough. You know what? You got me there. But I'll have to see, because I just watched the movie yesterday, so I might change my mind. But I'm in that 7 to 8 range.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
good, but not like spectacular. But I think he's spectacular.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you, Brianna,
Of course. Thanks for having me.
for being such a wonderful guest.
Mhm.
I appreciate it.
Yes. Thank
Lots
you
of
for
fun.
thanks for coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having that cute little background for me to look at the whole time.
Yeah, I know. All I could look at was Pacino's tired
soft,
little
sweet,
eyes.
tired, sleepy baby diaper eyes.
Hashtag Zoom background.
Yeah.
And hashtag Al Pacino Sleepy Boy.
And
He
also
is our hashtag Sleepy Boy King.
the king.
Sleepy boy
The king
king.
of sleep. The king of sleepy.
Sleepy babies.
And also thank you, Nick.
And thank you, Hunter. So yeah, this was our Insomnia talk. Tune in next week where we'll talk The Birdcage. So that's going to be a super exciting movie to cover, Hunter.
Indeed, I have never seen it.
I've never seen it either, and I've heard so
Oh.
many good things about it.
Y'all are
I
gonna
know.
love it.
Have you seen it?
It's probably my like top 2 Robin Williams movies.
Oh shoot!
It's fantastic.
Oh, well, we'll have to see about that. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see
What a picture!
I guess
Tune in for that. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Thank you, Brianna, again, for being a great guest. Special shout out to Joey Dalton for the amazing artwork.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Check us out anywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check us out, NYC Actors Talk Film. We have a website. Just search NYC Actors Talk Film. We have a YouTube channel. Same thing, NYC Actors Talk Film. We have an Instagram at, you guessed it, NYC Actors Talk Film. Stay tuned for more Robin Williams episodes coming up soon. Thanks for listening. Oh, I'm sleepy.
Stay sleepy.